Hi, good afternoon, all. When are we starting?
Very good afternoon to ma'am. So let's start. In a global economy, the law of trade is the law of opportunity. It's not just about crossing borders, it's about connecting possibilities. A very good afternoon to everyone. On behalf of Indegal World Institute, I, Charu Nayak, extend a warm welcome to all participants joining us today. I am delighted to introduce our organization for this session, the Legal World Institute. Legal World Institute is a part of Parivarik Enterprises Private Limited Group, registered under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and certified by ISO. ILW is also a member of the International Trade Council and is supported by Startup India initiative of the Government of India. Our mission. Our mission is to provide high quality, affordable legal education courses that bridge the gap between academic theory and professional legal practice. This includes equipping you to handle real world issues in global, corporate, trade, and business laws. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Ms. Nikki Tuli. Ms. Nikki is the driving force behind Legal Lands. She is a dynamic legal entrepreneur known for her expertise in corporate and commercial laws, cross-border advisory, and dispute resolution. Under her leadership, Legal Lands has grown into a progressive law firm delivering tailored legal solutions in areas including international trade, taxation, immigration, technology, and regulatory compliance. With a vision to bridge global legal landscape and empower businesses with strategic legal guidance, Nikki has positioned Legal Land as a trusted partner for both domestic and international clients. Today, she will be sharing her expertise on how global corporate framework operate in a rapidly evolving business environment. We are truly honored to have you, ma'am, with us. Before we begin, I would like to share a few quick instructions to you all. Everyone, kindly turn on your camera so that we can keep the session more interactive and engaging. Secondly, let's make this webinar enjoyable, energetic, and very participatory. You all are free to drop your thoughts and questions on chat box. And thirdly, don't forget to fill out the feedback form that will be shared in the end. It's mandatory to receive the certificate of participation when you fill the feedback form. And now, without taking much of your time, it is over to our speaker, Ms. Nikki. Please go ahead, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon, all. And I believe there are people coming from many parts of the world. So good afternoon, good day. And it is my pleasure, and I'm very much glad for the organization Interworld to have me as the speaker for a very special and a very, great topic with having my personal expertise in global corporate and business laws. And when we discuss about the career opportunities, frankly, I am one of them having a career. And just briefing up a little about myself once again, as already Charu has informed a bit. So I am Nikki Tuli. I am a partner in it's my own law firm, Legal Lands LLP. And we have been into practice in the same field for over 32 years now. And so basically our core philosophy is that law is not just a constraint, but a tool for designing and enabling the sustainable business across borders. In today's session, basically what we'll be, it is designated to demystify the world of global corporate and business law. So we are here to help all the law students, early career lawyers, and anyone who is interested in expansion abroad and must know how and why and what all should be considered and what are the possibilities to know, to acknowledge when we reach to the global world. So here, how we'll proceed. So I have categorized some sub points of my for this webinar, where we'll be sharing an overview that why global business law matters more than like now, and what are the key domains we should look into it, and then the career pathways that we are mainly highlighting. here, and then we go on with the live questions and sessions. Okay, and so if everyone is ready, so I should be starting with our first part of this webinar. So the thing is why global corporate and business law matters. So basically, we know that in 1980s and so on, India was a completely globalized, had liberalizations and everything, and now is one of the leading global economies of the world. And business no longer operates within the confined geographies, and it is everywhere. We are there in Indians are like leading the world in every possible with MNCs, and they have their business abroad, from a very small business of a nut bolt to stainless steel machineries and everything we are dealing in. So every enterprise, whether a multinational conglomerate or a fast scaling startup, interacts with the international market through trade, investment, technologies, or data exchanges as well. And I believe every one of us will be knowing that India also is one of the leading country in providing the data exchanges facilities such as BPOs. India holds one of the largest BPO facilities in the world as well. So this is where global corporate and business law emerges as the backbone of the international commerce, guiding how transactions are structured, investments are protected, and disputes are resolved. And so something that is very core here and we're talking about is that when we talk for business, when we say that we need to start a business, or any of our clients or anyone who wants to expand themselves overseas, so there are a few things that we need to see is like in the scale, if I categorize, so that one first would be the agreements between the countries. For that, I would want to highlight, like, I would actually want to ask you people first. So, if we scale the range of when we plan, like, I am a business owner and I plan that we should go abroad. I need to start my business abroad. So, what are the first thing that I need to shortlist? Is there any thing that anyone would want to answer, that what should be the thing that, as a business owner, I'm talking right now, should be considered? You can raise your hand if anybody knows the answer. Okay. No, wait. Sure.
Ma'am, I think we must know the legal and regulatory requirements. We must also do the market research. We must have a proper financial planning, and we must also have some sort of cultural adoption, like
Yeah.
business, how the
Perfect.
business registration take place, and what are the visas and intellectual property in the new country and everything.
Perfect. So the first thing that we need to know, that will my product actually be yes, then you're right that we need to do the due diligence, whether my product is even capable of being to that country. Like, suppose if I have a cosmetic brand and I have a cosmetic brand in India, so the skin tone that is for Indians is different, and for like Americans is different, for Chinese it's different, Korea, everyone has their own kind of textures and skin types. So I cannot just give, like, for an Indian skin tone, a lip shade will be of a different color, and similarly are different things for everyone, like that. So there is the first base is due diligence, and the second thing then it comes, can I even, like, is my product prohibited? Yes, obviously, but demand, competition and consumer behavior is also to be considered. Yes, but then what I'm trying to now is that, am I eligible to, like, export my product or import any product? Am I eligible to trade within the countries? So for that, to know that my eligibility to trade, am I, like, is my product coming under a prohibited or a restricted list? Is there any additional licenses that are required? So for that, there are agreements that are made between two countries. So these agreements are referred to as free trade agreements. And like India in itself are having a lot of approximately 80 free trade agreements with countries. And they have a free trade agreement, if I brief up, is basically a trade agreement between two countries where we actually what we discuss about the flow of trade the restrictions, the prohibitions, the custom duties, the tariff rates, every product, service is eligible for when we trade among like two different countries. Suppose like recently you would all have heard about the tariff rates between US has increased the tariff rates. Yes, in 2025 recently UK signed we signed a new CETA. The name is CETA for that UK agreement. So that is Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement. So that particular, so there is a thin line of difference between FTA and CETA, SEPA as well, that I will come next. So what I was telling was that recently you would all have heard in the news that US has increased their tariff rates in India, approximating to 50% of increase has been there. So what actually that impacted our economy? Our economy has been extensively impacted because of this tariff. And because of this thing, there are many changes. There are many there are many duties that have been levied onto us. The production has been hampered with all these things. Not only diamond merchant, a lot of people. There were diamond merchants are one of the category, but a lot of people have been impacted through it. And now, okay, so coming forward to it, so as Ben, recently informed us right now that the UK signed an agreement with India recently. So if you notice it briefly, there has been there is one agreement that is called FTA. Suppose when we talk about Singapore agreement, that is that's called if I'm not wrong, so there's one agreement that's called SAFTA, and the other agreements, they have their names. Of course, when we're talking about the India UAE agreements, they are SEPA, that's Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreements. With UK, we have found CETA, that is Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreements, and the others are FTAs. So what is the difference between these three agreements? So FTA only and only deals in the trade aspect and the information whether I can trade, I cannot trade, what are the things about it. But when we go on forward, SEPA and CETA, they also consider the economies of scale that are involved in the trade between both the organizations. Okay. So these frameworks define how countries trade, invest, and cooperate. A sound undertaking of these treaties is no longer optional for lawyers, it is essential. So basically, why our point and our information for all these agreements is very important, because even a small thing is very crucial for us to understand and recommend our clients and our people, whoever are planning to, even ourselves, if we are planning to go abroad for our services. Suppose if you would have seen, there are many professionals who are now shifting to UAE and other countries. Whether can we practice, can we not practice? So all such things are available in these agreements. What will happen if I am remitting any of my service in any other country? What withholding taxes, what everything will be required? So again, the very significant thing that comes here is a double taxation avoidance agreement. So when we talk that there are many things, such as if I, being an advocate, is you know providing my services to a person in Belarus. So how much tax do they have to pay to me? And if they pay a tax there, and if I also have to pay my taxes, their double taxation that's coming up. So again, we have a lot of agreements within countries. They are double taxation avoidance agreements, and we, being an advocate into this legal field, into guidance, need to know all the differences between these agreements and these tax rates and everything, and have to go through it. Sorry, Rajendra said something, availability on the. Okay, I'm able to understand that part. Okay, moving forward. So when we were talking about double taxation avoidance agreements, so they ensure the businesses and individuals who are investing abroad are not unfairly taxed twice on the same income. For corporate lawyers, tax treaties are not just technical documents, they are tools that influence where companies establish boundaries, how profits are distributed, and how cross-border transactions are structured. Knowing how they interpret and apply them can often determine the success or failure of an international business model. So further, another vital domain reshaping its legal landscape is data protection and privacy laws. as I said in the beginning, so data protection and privacy laws make a major effect on our corporate or country wise data. You would have sometimes heard that there was a data leak for a company, for the country, and we get a lot of cyber frauds. And again, coming considering it in the corporate sector, so India has one of the leading space for business professional BPOs, process outsourcing. So what exactly BPO does? BPO is storing the data of the MNCs abroad, and then they talk to people, they call and they start selling things and stuff like that. We need there are many laws that are provided by UN and many other prestigious nation organizations which we has as the world have to cater to. And data has become one of the most world's most valuable asset, because everything right now is digital, and it also with the valuability includes the greatest regulatory challenge. So there are frameworks like general data protection regulation that is working in Europe. India data protection personal data protection act is there of 2023. Then there are for Saudi, there for California. Every major country frankly today is having a data protection act, and the purpose of it is to regulate the data, handle it and secure it to the most level, and assure and try that these things are not effectively like used in the wrong way. And we, being an advocate for assisting our clients to go abroad, must also have a basic insight of what exactly data protection, how much can it help, and how what when it comes to dispute resolution onto that part. So which is the main authority that we are supposed to reach? How, like when it is something related to some breach has been done by a company in Korea, and I am for my client in India, how am I how should I be aware that which particular organization am I supposed to reach, which is the target domain dispute resolution mechanism sector where I should put my query and application onto. So this is closely linked to the international trade law, which governs the exchange of goods and services under WTO, that is World Trade Organization, and various bilateral and regional agreements. Lawyers in this domain help resolve issues like tariffs, anti-dumping duty, export control, subsidies, and trade restrictions. Their work ensures the global commerce remain fair, predictable, and transparent, principles that form a very foundation of the international trading system. Okay. Beyond trade and taxation lies the critical pillar, that is international trade dispute. And trade or any dispute that could be, and we need, and for that we have a proper, every country has a proper mechanism. So in the global market, conflicts are inevitable, but they are also resolved whether the business relationship survives or collapse. Today, arbitration and mediation have become the preferred methods for resolving cross-border disputes, and forums like International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, LCIA, that will be London Court of International Chambers, and SIAC, that be Singapore Court International, and these days, frankly, DIAC as well for Dubai International Arbitration Center, considering Dubai is now a good hub for the businesses recently. And the for all these things, UCTRL framework has been set a gold standard for neutrality, efficiency, and enforceability. Sorry, did I miss something? Okay. Okay. So lawyers skilled in these procedures are not just litigators, they are also peace architects who protects investments and maintain business of continuity on a global scale. So for this, frankly, I would now want to ask everyone. So what is your point of view when we come to arbitration or mediation? So like, I believe if anybody among you are actually practicing in Indian courts and have done arbitration, mediation, or something like that. Mutual settlement of dispute. But okay, so was that a trade dispute you did, or what kind of dispute was like you managed, assisted? Okay. Say, will that be related to matrimony and stuff? Family court, property. Okay. It is all this through mediator. Mediator, the okay, yes, mediator. No. Okay. So when we we're coming back to our international trade part, and when we talk about arbitration and stuff. So giving you a practical example from my own case, the recent case that we did. Okay. So for that, so there is one of my client in Egypt who was selling oranges, who exported oranges from Egypt, and it came to India in the South Indian part. So these people, when came, were not having were having a contract, but not a properly legalized contract. So again, we'll want to ask you a question: how will you differentiate whether the contract is an appropriate contract or not? What would be a thin line of difference between the contract to make it, more effective in India? We're talking only. Anybody? Yes, but I would want to know it in a layman term more. Anyone can speak also. I believe they can, if they have something, they can also convey it verbally.
Maybe it should primarily follow the law of the land to start with.
No, yes, okay. Obviously, it has to primarily follow the law of the land. But okay, what I'm trying to convey here is that one, there is a contract that is in a single paper where you say, I get this thing, this much ton is to be delivered, signed by both the parties. Is this particular format
It should
and legally enforceable contract as per you?
it should contain all the important clauses also. Like it should have an arbitration clause. It should have a force majeure clause and all the important clause, severability and
Yes.
everything.
Yes, exactly. And also be having a stamp paper and notarized to make it legally sound. And when we talk about international contracts, what is international contracts? Basically, why one person is from one country and the other is from another. Suppose in the case I'm explaining, so the one person is from Egypt and the other person is from India. So there are two different countries that are involved. So it is always, when we take into the international sector, it is always regarded whether these both contracts are bilingual. If the other country is also having English as the main language, so we don't need to bilingual it. But in Egypt, the main language is Arabic. So it's better we get it one half part in Arabic and the other in this, and then we get it notarized in our own jurisdictional area. So this is how it makes it now when we talk about this in the dispute part, when we have a basic paper contract and we go to dispute in this situation, actually courts, it is very difficult for as an advocate to manage this thing and make it agreed for the court that okay, this is a valid agreement that has been came. So there are basic things that from the very basic we need to see for our client, and then when we come to dispute resolution, there are a lot many things that are to be catered to, and then we go, there's a proper procedure, and we must at least know about our jurisdictional area and what are the basic key differences that being an advocate we must follow. Okay, so next and very important growing part that we have recognized recently is the ESGs. Well, ESGs are environmental, social, and governance. The considerations with the global business law. International investors now demand accountability in areas like sustainability, ethical sourcing, carbon disclosures, Lawyers play a pivotal role here, ensuring the corporate conduct aligns with international sustainability obligations and that businesses comply with evolving environmental norms. In the essence of the global corporate and business law, is no longer a specialized niche. It is the core language of the modern commerce. Whether we are dealing with the multinational mergers, cross-border transactions, data privacy, or investment arbitration, these fields shape a very framework through the global businesses. So, having a little more discussion about ESGs. So, from a long time now, I believe there has been a practice that the chemical pollutions and other kind of pollutions are there in our country. So, when we go deep into it, so there are many MNCs that are created in India and they tend to pollute our country in one or the other way. So, ESG has been a very important topic, a career opportunity for us all because it is still growing. And so it is very much crucial, and I believe there are many institutes, and I believe our institute also will be providing some of the courses that are particular for ESGs. So there are many things we're looking into it, and frankly, as my personal suggestion would be that it is very good if anyone is actually with the international trade businesses and everything focuses on the ESG part particular within it, as it still has a growing dominance, is applicable worldwide, and then is a kind of still in a niche when we talk in the practical world. There are not many experts available still in the law field for the ESG sector. So, the lawyer who understands not just the domestic law, but how to weave together multiple international legal systems becomes more than an advisor. They become a strategic partner in the global growth. And as the world continues to integrate economically, such professionals will define the future of law and business alike. Okay. So, if anybody is having any particular question about what we have discussed until now, so I'll move on to my topic of how we can manage the trade flow. And as an advocate, what must we know? We've already discussed this basically, but still, if anybody wants to ask more things.
Anybody who have any question from first slide, kindly raise your questions, either in chat box or you can speak also. So Anika has one question. How the laws are applicable in this scenario?
Which scenario in particular?
Ankita, kindly elaborate your question. I think she is asking about ESG's laws, how they're applicable in international trade.
ESG applicability. Again, ESG is like in a very like base world, if I tell. So ESG, just an example, I gave an example about pollution in India. So ESG is basically economic, social, and governance. So social, environmental part, environmental is self-explanatory, that is talking about the air, water, sand, and all the type of pollutions that could happen in our country or any country. So there is a proper protocol that has been set by UN and WTO about what all basic things must be followed, and then every country has their own protocols. Like India, suppose in Delhi we have a lot of, like, when it comes to November, and there'll be a lot. Your voice is mute. Okay, so there, like, when we talk in Delhi, so there is like a lot of things and pollution by the end of November that comes frequently. So there are many things that every MNC or any international or national or any plant is set up have to take up and considers. That is the environmental thing that is coming up. Social is that if you would know that there are many human resources that are traveling from one country to another for work, and similarly from one state to another state. So this is how ESG is categorized into, and there is a proper structure of domain and the protocols that are mentioned. This is how the law is working in it.
I hope Ankita's question is being answered. Anybody else who have questions until the prior slide?
And if I interpret Ankita's question in the other way of trade, and if we say that how the laws are applicable in this scenario. So basically what happens is, the main thing, me being an Indian and my client being of any other country, the main thing that we focus on is the trade agreements. And if there is a situation of dispute resolutions and so on, suppose if the money is recovered in India, then the Indian litigation or arbitration proceedings will be followed. And similarly, if it is in the other country, if I need to file a recovery suit, for example, in other country, suppose in Paris I need to file the recovery suit, so I will be going there and practicing their law structure. So basically the law will be applicable for that particular area where the grievance has been caused. But the barrier that uh, holds us together is the trade agreements and the taxation agreements. Okay, moving forward, so emerging and high growth areas. So okay, so now we are discussing the key domains and skills that are involved
Sorry to
in.
interrupt, ma'am. We have one more question from Ben. He's asking, ma'am, I'm planning to get into privacy laws from IAAP. How can I apply this or get into global trade and business laws?
What is IAP? Please have to brief me up about that. It's that kind of an institute or what?
I just Google it for you. So it is showing like International Association of Accessibility Professionals. I think, is it Ben? Yes.
So you want to register yourself as a professional in that particular field of GDPR. I believe there will be like a structure. Suppose if I am not aware of that particular thing right now, but I have this so I have listed myself with LCIA and other things. So there is a proper fee structure and routine that is managed. So you can you can open their website. There will be an eligibility criteria, and so for things the fee will be informed, and based on that you can apply. They'll always have an eligibility criteria. For example, LCIA, when I registered myself as an arbitrator, so they have a list of things of what or eligibility they need to do. They needed my degree and some fee of 2000 euro pounds, so that was paid, and then we got a membership. So similar would be the procedure. And when you want to know about the criticalities of it, frankly, getting a membership is one thing, and understanding about law, you are an advocate, you will have to study on yourself and get the expertise of this thing, and make sure that whatever you convey your client, it is proofread, and you're confident about what you're saying and you're not misleading them. That actually should be the basic ethics.
Uh,
uh,
True, true. You can, register yourself to an online portal and you can create an account and you can fulfill all the eligibility criteria and do it so like by paying the amount, whatever is being asked for. And simple procedure. You can Google it for your more clarity.
Great. So now we're talking about the other areas and domains that we can take up forward. So having understood why global corporate and business law have become indispensable to international commerce, the next question naturally arises is, where do the opportunities lie? And more importantly, how can today's legal profession position themselves to lead into the dynamic global environment? The legal profession is no longer limited to courtrooms and compliance checklist. The modern lawyer operates as a corporate border strategist, a risk advisor, and often a commercial diplomat. Whether it's negotiating a multi-jurisdictional M&A deal, advising on the international joint venture, structuring tax effect, investment vehicles, or ensuring compliances with the data and ESG regulation, it is a vast scope and intellectually rewarding. So we are breaking down the domains and discussing in a little brief about what all are the possibilities. So first that I would want to discuss will be international corporate transactions and mergers and acquisitions. So lawyers specializing in cross-border mergers and acquisitions are increasingly in demand. Their role extends beyond drafting agreements. They must navigate regulatory approvals, competition law, due diligence across nations, strategic thinking, and global business mindset are key. So basically, as we started our topics, as I said in the very initial, that if I have a cosmetic brand in India and I want to launch it abroad to Korea, or if I have a cosmetic brand of Russia and I want to, launch it in India. So there are many things that have to be catered into. There's a proper due diligence that has to be followed. Like suppose there's a brand that is planning to come into India. So there is a proper first whether their brand will be suitable, because suppose there's a Russian brand, so they have a Russia is always is a very cold country. Comparing to it, India is a hotter country. So what if their lipstick melts when you import it? So there are many things they have to consider. Then when we have the brands, there is a proper cosmetic license under the drugs law that has to be barred with. There's a proper approvals and everything. Then how many competitions do we have? Where will I register? Can they what all custom requirements will be applicable onto them? And then where are they going to set the warehouse? There are abundance of things that has to be happen. So when we are saying ourselves as the international lawyer for the corporate world, for the mergers and acquisition, see it, like again, as I just said, so just it's not about drafting of the contract. Drafting of the contract is the very basic thing. Then the main thing that comes, whether my client should be there in the country, how can they be there, how can they grow, what all things do they need, what all manpower will they need, the warehousing and XYZ. See, when we talk about this, the advocate, the lawyer here is regarded as a one stop solution who needs to have every information about what is going to happen, how it should happen, because the client who's coming to India has no idea what Indian thing is, how Indian market prevails. So we have to have the market knowledge, we have to have the risk analysis knowledge, the financial information, and then obviously that is binding us is the legal compliance, that everything that is done has to be done legally. So when we talk about the cross border transaction, when we talk about the you know being a corporate advocate, so it is a very, very vast uh, si- thing. So the next is the trade and investment law practices. Professional, well versed in FTAs and SEPAs and everything that we have discussed as yet, and WTO frameworks play a crucial role in helping governments and corporations alike. They they interpret trade barriers, advise on tariff preferences, and represent stakeholders international trade dispute. With the rise of new trade blocs and economic alliances, this area offers immense potential. So here what we are talking about, that a person who has the specialization of all the agreements between the country, so they act as a base of not only the private sector but also with the government sector. So they can target both the kind of organizations and have a great potential of how should we go on forward. The second will be the taxation part, what we have discussed, the double taxation avoidance agreement, the withholding taxes, how my client should invest, what should they invest, how will they be transferring the funds from India to abroad, how are we strategizing it, how are we not avoiding how are we avoiding the double tax, how are we not evading the tax. So there are many things that need to be done, and how we are helping our country, their country, both the and the clients as well. So there everything that has to be taken up forward when we advise our client to go abroad with the taxation aspect. Then the fourth one will be data protection and technology law. As businesses rely heavily on the cross-border data transfer, privacy frameworks and cyber regulations have become critical. Lawyers in this space guide multinational corporations through complex compliance obligations, data breach responses, and international technology contracts, safeguarding both privacy and profit. So basically, when we transact anything abroad or have any data that is transferred from one country to another country, so we will have to regulate our data transfers, the privacy. We have to ensure that it is not leaked, it is not hacked, and it is not taken by anyone who is not required. It is done within the closed ambit and a secured ambit. The second last thing would be dispute resolution and arbitration. So as we have already discussed, as the trade has been immensely increasing and everything is just going there, so it also is inevitably increasing the disagreements as well. So hence international arbitration and mediation have become a cornerstone practice for global law firms. Lawyers practicing before institutions such as ICC, LCIA, SIC have managed high stake disputes involving billions in cross border investments. So, when we are Indian advocates, and just giving an example, people can be from anywhere right now. So, I am an Indian advocate who is registered with the Bar Council of India. I cannot go to the court in any other country. However, when it's about arbitration and I am a member of any chamber like SIAC or LCI or any one of those, I can be an arbitrator. Being an Indian advocate, I can be an arbitrator and then try to resolve the dispute of my client. So there's a thing that has to be managed in that way. And this also gives me a preference and more understanding of how things can be taken. So this is one thing that is also a very good business opportunity, career opportunity for us all. And the last thing is the ESG, climate and sustainability law. As investors and governments push for sustainable growth, ESG compliance has moved from voluntary reporting to legal obligations. This has opened a new frontier for lawyers who can interpret and align corporate policies within environmental and social governance framework across the borders. I believe this has been a good way for us. Do we need to discuss something more? Or should I shift to the new topic?
Hi, students. Do you have any query or we should shift to the new topic? It is all clear. Okay, man.
Great.
Anyone else who have any query or is it all set? They
Can
have,
you, hello,
yeah. Yes, please,
can
Rajendra, go ahead.
can I, can I ask my question, please?
Yes, please.
Basically, this ESG thing is very fascinating for me. So
Mhm.
can you tell me a little more detail about ESG for an advocate and how to qualify and do further in this particular field? So it will be really helpful, especially when we are dealing outside, maybe a developed world where ESG and GDPR stuff are uh, quite valuable. So if you can give a little detail, please.
So basically, when we talk about ESG and when we talk about the courses related to it, so there are many organizations. Even our organization is also Interworld is also providing the ESG certificate course where you can brief up about what we are dealing in. Then when we talk about the practical world for ESG, so it is not that complicated. It is not that complicated or a big deal, a very complicated deal. It is something what we are dealing in the day-to-day life and how we will be taking it forward. How are we? So ESG basically what on the practical front involves only and mainly the consultation of how and what all needs to be, what are the protocols that are need to be followed. And then obviously you can go for more courses in this particular field to have your skills more effectively developed, so then you can target a client and advise them.
Hi, Rajendra. ESG is simply, environment and social responsibility. So environment, like how our day-to-day environment is being affected by carbon emission, waste management, and etc. And if you talk about social, then it is something related to your HR, human resources, how you connect to your employees and everything. So it is simply you can build in day-to-day life you can build it in your day-to-day working life, and also you can, give compliance to bigger industries or who are big in the world like MNCs and everything. You can give them the compliance of ESG, how they can comply to the ESG requirement. For that, you can have the courses developed. There are many organizations who are developing the courses for the same. How you can, give suggestion or become a legal advisors for the compliance of ESG. So you can do the same.
Yes. Pratik, responding to your question, Anti-money laundering role in a firm, can you guide me about, is there an opportunity or not? A lot of opportunities are there. With the increase in crypto, there a lot of opportunity in anti-money laundering and everywhere. In not only crypto, what we are talking about, there are abundance of recovery suits that are filed in many countries. People are transacting abroad and the person has evaded, there is not available. What should we do? What are the things? So there are a lot of things, but again, we are right, we are Indian advocates, we can only practice in India. So for that, frankly, I would suggest, either you can, if you can get a particular degree in that particular country, that'll be great. If not, make alliances, make contacts, and then work. And then when it's about arbitration, again, then yes, you can do it yourself. You don't need any alliance further. But it is a good, very good thing that is going on the law front, obviously. But we there are a lot of cases on many everyday basis that are having this money laundering part, and worldwide it is there. Okay, so now we are moving ahead with the career paths and opportunities. So I have tried to frame. I would try to frame a table for this, basically, wherein I'm trying to categorize the people in the experience scale. So, for example, if an advocate who has just qualified and is under experience of a 0 to 2 years, so they are basically, their possible roles are junior associates or a contract lawyer. So they, what you like, they usually focus on their assistant drafting, research works, working with their senior counsel and support system, basically. Then when we are like 2 to 5 years of advocates, so associates specializing in international transaction, basically, so we can lead negotiations for clauses, interface with foreign councils, deal structuring. These are the things that we can do. Interface with the foreign council is something that I informed, that we can have an alliance with the other country and then get the work resolved. Then when we are 5 to 10 years, so we are under the category of senior counsel or a cross-border specialist. So they are lead transactions. They lead transactions, they manage the team, and they advise the strategy. And when we are like 10 plus, so we are global counsels, partners, and in-house head of legal. So we then, on the 10 plus scale, we have strategic legal design, advising C-suits, and leading cross-border jurisdiction practice. Where are the opportunities? International law firms with dedicated corporate trade and arbitration practices, boutique or specialized law firm, big four consultancies are there, in-house legal teams of MNCs, tech, financial institutions, infrastructure and energy companies, investment funds, private equity funds, cross-border venture capital, and other would be trade and export promotion agencies, multilateral institutes, and regulatory or policy think tankers. Basically, think tankers would be the associations which regulate policies. Suppose there's an association for stainless steel or any other government trade body. And across all these, you can carve subspecialties, say ESG plus supply chain for a global retail brand, or an arbitration plus fintech for digital platforms, things like that. You can categorize yourself. So there are many opportunities. Sorry. So there are many opportunities that we can, as a when we are planning ourselves to be a global legal professional, we can cater to, and we can uh, work with. So one is obviously, just as I informed previously, that there is a base level, that what is the agreement that is internationally binding us. Is that a one pager agreement, or is that an agreement that has to be done in a bilingual language of that country, that has to be apostilled, and then everything has to be done? So there is a proper structure. As an advocate, it is my duty to know how am I making a legally sound agreement that is also applicable in my country and the other jurisdiction as well. And then the research, analysis, and dispute resolution, arbitration has to be taken up, strategizing. So obviously, as in when we grow our experience, we are more prompt with how we are working. Any question with respect to this career part? How can we enter into drafting and ADRS and NC channels? Name the organization from actually in need of service and how to get sitting. You will have to apply for the jobs for this particular thing, and also like this is basically how you can get a job is how you market yourself, considering within the laws of our advocacy act of our country nine. Then and basically you will have to think of it and how you market. You join a firm, you join that kind of firm. Is remote jobs or we have to travel? That depends on the job that you have taken. That strictly depends on the job, like which association. And like suppose if you are planning for an MNC, if they give you any, how can you promote yourself? You can register yourself with the suppose for arbitration, and there are there is LCIA, so you can register them yourself there and then promote yourself on LinkedIn and other websites and stuff, so that the people know you, they trust you, they give you work. And it also depends upon the experience that you hold and how much things you can cater to, what your expertise, and also your job mainly. It's where you work is will be one of the rings. And about whether it is remote job or stuff, that is something you'll have to frankly take up with your uh, person who's associated. So you will have to apply to these, international law firms, big fours, and consultancy firms where you can initially get this opportunity, and later on, if required, you can start your own business as per your expertise and your level that has been increases from time to time. LinkedIn is not enough, but can be one of the sources. It's not the only thing, but yes, definitely can be one of the sources you can have. And there are many other opportunities you can go through. You basically have to make yourself that renowned, and there are many ways to do it. Other sources would be, you have your website, the place you're working with. Suppose I am working with, like I have my own law firm, that's Legal Lands LLP. So I have like ensured that how I can take it forward, how I am here. So that is one of my way to promote myself, and then tell people that I work in this field, and then have a client like that. Some from references, some are from contacts, some are from your own marketing that you have created, your own preference, your name that has been built with time to time. Networking meetings, one of the best way is networking meetings. Go to different organizations. Like suppose for women, there are a lot of women organizations, they are who are promoting businesses, who are promoting professionals. There's BNI, and there's FICCI that's promoting one of those. So there are a lot of trade chambers you can get yourself registered with, and then they can help you forward. So there are many things where you can register yourself as an advocate and then work. And so I've also telling here about the steps to build a global career, legal career. So the first and the foremost thing is that choose what is your specialization. Right now we have discussed about 6 or 7 specializations. There's ESG, there is trade dispute resolution, there are agreements, DTAAs, there are tax agreements, there are trade agreements, there are a lot many things that have been taken up. So what is your specialization? Because you cannot do it all, you have to choose one. So what is your niche, what is your the thing that you are able to understand, and then you are able to make your client understand. Make one specialization area. It is always the best that you have one thing. Build a strong research and a drafting portfolio. When we talk about strong research and a drafting portfolio, it is basically when I say that what is FTA, and suppose when we talk about liquor. So liquor in UAE has, when you import it normally without any compliances with the SEPA, it has approximately 150 percentage of duty. But when you do it under the ambit of SEPA. That is 90% of duty. How will I register myself under SEPA? So I have to have a certificate of origin from UAE or India to prove that I am eligible to trade within this SEPA. So there are many things as a professional I must know, that I must have my research done so I am able to consult it to my client. Then get certified. It is always good either have an experience or have a certification for this thing, because then this is how you can show yourself that yes, I know about this thing. Something like, again, a promotional tool what you're doing. Join cross-border projects and competitions, visit, network, speak with as many people as you can, make contacts, and then again network with global professionals and stay updated on the legal and economic developments. Again, just trade trade and tariff war that has happened recently. Now China is also supporting us in one way, so again we are having some relaxations for China. Then what has happened with US, what is happening with Russia. So even though Russia is having in a war in itself, but still we are able to have a good trade with them. So why, how? So what is happening? What changes frequently? So we need to be updated with everything, because legal professional is not the one-time study that we have done in our course. It's basically a study that is going on for a longer time. So I am done now. You please can have a question Q&A session of how to take it. What all do you have your questions?
Students, if you have any question, can you raise your questions?
I missed this one. Shrikant says, name some online platforms in legal tech companies. There are a lot of legal tech companies available. Even my own firm has started recently with the legal AI that is strict, like mainly focusing on the free trade agreements only. So we have an AI launch. There are a lot many things that are coming up. Yes, Aditya, please.
Prashant has a question. I'm student after graduation. Can I directly join or require some pre-mandatories?
See, when we talk about working in a law firm or any international sector or anything, you can directly join. It all depends on your competence of how great you are, how are you managing everything. Can you, suppose you're going to an interview, can you actually claim and inform your interviewer that yes, you have the knowledge? It's all about your knowledge and your expertise and your confidence. And having some certification or an LLM degree or a PhD and everything is just basically a way to open your mind broader, and how I can just go up and about of the information that is being required in that particular field. Yes, Aditya, you may please ask your question.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, what do you think about maritime law? Like, how applicable?
Maritime law. um I don't know much about maritime law.
Uh, like, ma'am, if we do mixture of debt and it also involves international trades, right?
See, maritime law is basically, I'm sorry, okay. So this maritime law, what you're talking about is restricting ourselves to the sea area, right? So
Yes, yes.
you can do, it is a very, very tiny field, and it will be very difficult for you to target a customer particular for that particular field. It is better you broaden your scope and suppose go to customs. So it will
Okay.
include all these things. Like when you do the international trade, you do it for a longer, wider field. Like not way too wide, but a little wide, because maritime is very tiny. And if I just only cater to the Indian market right now, for starters, it will be very difficult for you to, approach to that particular organization or an industry or, you know, um, company that is taking that law, and what are you suggesting? Suppose even in ESGs, if you see, though it is a very vast field, it is growing, but there are a lot of advocates who are not just rigid to ESGs. There are lot many things that are going on. So it is good scope, but very, very small. You should broaden that part.
Okay, and ma'am, can you your suggestion for an LLM degree outside India, if specific in business trade or
LLM for us Indian advocates is only good from UK, or you can
okay,
also go to Ireland, any institute that benefits you as per your budget. But again, you will not get a proper job there because you are actually a qualified advocate from India and not from that country. And you'll end up ending back in India. That's like a very harsh reality for LLMs abroad. But the plus point for LLM is from abroad is that you make great contacts, you meet a lot of people, it's a complete personality change for you, and yes, you end up being a better person of yourself. So yes, for good contacts and good references in your life, being a better person individually, it is a good deal to do. But you will have to know whether spending that much of money just for making contacts and everything is justified or not. So that you'll have to take up, and you'll have to analyze your budget accordingly.
okay, ma'am. So I was searching for a shorter duration course. So what I wanted was to add a good name behind my, I like a good college name behind my name.
So definitely you should go there. There are many good colleges in India as well. You see, everything related to LLM depends upon your budget. As much as budget you can afford, if you can go to UK, will approximately what they cost to 20-25 lakh, as much as I am aware,
Yes, yes.
could vary. So that if you can afford that, great. It is a good opportunity. A great college give you a mark. If you are targeting any big fours or any good firms, international law firms in India, this particular thing gives you a very good benchmark. Okay, so like it gives you like a standard. So this is a good thing. You can definitely go.
Okay,
Yes,
that's all
sure.
for me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I hope there are no more questions.
Yes, Rajendra ji has raised his hand. Can you please tell me what it is?
Yeah. Thank you very much, madam, for the opportunity. I am basically a qualified engineer with corporate experience in industry, and recently I have finished my LLB and also MBL from National Law School, University, Bangalore.
Okay.
And I am looking into, basically, I am looking now your guidance. So, as per my own plan, I am looking into mediation and arbitration. But there are many areas like ESG, international trade, global trade, you name it. So, can you guide me which one will be better for me so that my corporate experience, yeah, both India and outside, will be helpful in due course of time. Thank you.
Considering your engineering part, I would say, like, making you from the science background, ESG is a great deal for you. It is undoubtedly a very good deal. You can go there, you can practice, you can, again, you have to promote yourself in that way, or you be associated as a consultant, or work with any of the international law firms. You approach them, you network with them. And the second great thing for you would be something in patent, IPR. So that is also one of the great things that you can take up, considering your science background. These two will, and then also you can cater to the data privacy laws as well. Data privacy is also, it is not linked with the science background, but yes, has a lot of, the main digital thing that is coming up these days. So there are many, Java and applications and many things that are, that how it can be hacked, the cyber security part, that is also one of the very booming topics these days. And we need like, I believe India still needs a lot of advocates specific for the cyber security. So that also is a very good field that you can target.
Yeah, recently I did a 3 month certificate course from Asian School of Law on GDPR and also diploma in
Perfect.
cyber law from them only.
Perfect.
So little bit, I can say I know about it, but I need to develop on that. So
So now I would say it will be better for you to start, promoting yourself, inform the world that you have so many skills and so many things, and then try to, network with them, make your contact, and then, go in the practical world.
yeah, that helps me. Really appreciate. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
input.
And Lavi Baga, which certification can help to get work in this field, and how do we start? Can you please explain which field we were talking then? ESG certification, there are many institutes that are providing ESG certification. You can get the list on Google. And anti money laundering also. See, frankly, when we're talking about like ESG is a new field, I am not very much worse about it. But when we talk about anti money laundering, please brief up yourself about the PMLA that is going on. Online gaming new bill has been passed. That is one of the leading reason of money laundering. Cryptocurrencies, you need to have these three information that is binding us in the money laundering part. Read it yourself. You cannot read it yourself, do a course, and then start your base with it. And similarly, when you're talking about any other law country, so you have to be very precise of what country it is, and as much as you can study, as much as you can, grow yourself. That would be one of my suggestions to have a career in these opportunity in these areas. Charu, I feel we have discussed many things. So should we
Uh,
conclude, or we should left with some more things?
yes, ma'am, we have concluded. So thank you so much for your valuable time and insights. We are really grateful to have you. And thank you all the students for joining in. Dear students, I wanted to wait for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Prashant. And okay, I hope everyone liked my session, and I'm able to, help everyone with what they had in their mind. And I believe we have another specific certification course for business law that is coming up in the month of October only. So I am also there. So you please definitely join our course there. I am teaching one of the modules, and we can go on forward with the better understanding of laws. The topics I'm dealing are data protection and ESGs and stuff, what I have discussed here only. So be good.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much, ma'am,
you
for
so
the
much.
solution. Thank you so much for such an insightful and enriching session. And thank you all the participants for being such a wonderful audience. I hope you all enjoyed the learning and we look forward to serve you with all courses. So dear students, I have something for you. There are 38 students, right? So dear students, this was a base foundation of our upcoming course. So we have our upcoming course on international business laws, which has been renamed, and it is our detailed course is global corporate and business law. So we have this course, and all the students who have joined this webinar, you will get flat 15% off on this course. Like whoever has joined the today's webinar, we have 38 participants, and all the participants who fill the feedback form, we have exclusive 15% off to all of you if you take and be a part of this global corporate and business law course. So as ma'am told, she is teaching one of the module in our course. Simultaneously, we have other faculties. We have total 8 modules, and we have total 8 faculty students. So there is a faculty from Ministry of WTO, World Trade Organization, Miss Tamanna Bansal, who will be taking one of the module. And we also have, partners from Bharucha and Co. And we also have someone who has worked with Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas, AZB. And there are people who have completed their LLM from King's College. So you can also have an insight. And we have ma'am, as we have already, introduced her. She is a founder of Legal Lands. You can also have so many help from her in future. So if you want to be a part of this course, the Global Corporate and Business Law course, kindly DM me. I will send you an exclusive link of 15% off. So if you want to be a part of this course, kindly DM me personally. My number I have already write it in chat box. It is 79879379661. I'll write it again for you all. Kindly DM me if you want to be a part of this course. 879379661. So anybody who want to be a part, there are 2 days offer. Like tomorrow we will end this offer. So all the students of this webinar will have 15% off. Thank you so much, students. We can end this session. Kindly fill the form and DM me if you want to enroll for this course.
Great, lovely to connect with all. Bye, take care.
Hi, students. So be a part of this course. Kindly DM me if you want an exclusive offer. And if you're unable to afford this course, we can also provide you 25% off because our main motive is to teach you, right? We want to facilitate the gap. If you want to be a part, kindly DM me. I will talk to the organization to provide you with the maximum discount we can. And apart from ma'am, we have very good faculties. How to join in our WhatsApp group? Kindly DM me. I have given you my WhatsApp number 7987937961. Kindly WhatsApp me and I will add you in the group. Any other who have any queries related to course can come up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hope the class is over.
Yeah, class is over. You can leave the meeting. If you have any doubts, you can come up.
Yeah. I've already enrolled into that,
You have
this session.
enrolled in IDA course?
Yeah, I've enrolled for that coming session already.
Okay, the certificate course, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. You can leave the meeting.